Dr. Scavella, if I were you, I'd take a hard look at the room behind you before you get out of here and leave, because they were shaking their heads to Ms. Brownlee's point. So that's something you're going to want to have an answer to when you engage with the committee, okay? How long have you been in this position?
I've been in this position since January of 2022. I've been at the VA for 25 years.
25 years. Mr. Bracci, that IG report, are there any bullet points on that report that have been replicated over previous years?
Some common themes, as far as the contract exam program, we've been focusing on that for several years now because of the millions of veterans that impact.
What discrepancies that we're seeing in the VA system that are ongoing?
I would say that just the oversight by MDEO, we see that continuously. I will say that they address issues as we identify them and as we make recommendations, but it's the proactive oversight up front.
Well, the oversight report that you submitted and the previous oversight report that we've engaged with are stating the same thing over and over again. So, Dr. Scavella, can you tell me why the VA system is, I guess in my opinion, I'm going to say taking this kind of haphazardly and not engaging with, I mean, when you have spinal cord injuries, again, I'm saying because I'm looking behind you and I'm seeing everybody, right? And so I really want to know why this, the Secretary's number one priority is suicide, and I appreciate that wholeheartedly, but when our veterans have lost the ability to be mobile, amongst other things, it runs neck and neck. And if we continue to have an IG report that's pretty much beating the hell out of the VA, I want to know why the leadership's not taking advantage of the situation and fixing the problem. And so far, you haven't given us any dates. Now, I've listened to the committee members, including the ranking member, ask questions, what are the dates? The dates. And in the military, we ask for dates. Those are hard lines, because we function that way. That's how we operate. So I want to know when the VA is going to throw us a hard time and say, hey, this is when we're going to fix this. Can you answer that question for me?
So thank you for that question, Congressman Luttrell. We are making sure that we're answering the mail when it comes to these findings. I'm in the Veterans Health Administration.
What does that mean?
I'm going to turn this question over to the Veterans Benefits Administration, who runs this program. I do not oversee it.
Mr. London.
Congressman Luttrell, thank you very much for the question. And to answer your question specifically, the recommendations that OIG identified in the report will all be satisfied by the end of this fiscal year, so by September 30. 3 of the recommendations we've already implemented, and we will provide all of the evidence to OIG after they're completed on September 30th.
So September 30th, that's a hard time. That OIG report is going to be completely resolved.
Yes, sir. And yes, sir. And last year, when I testified before your subcommittee, you challenged me to make sure that you were going to hold me accountable, and you're going to hold me accountable for those dates as well. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. And I respect your leadership and honesty. Thank you for doing that. My second question is, I ran into a lovely young lady. She was over in Longworth Building, and she had, and for the life of me, I can't remember the exact mechanism that she has a robotic mechanism that allows exoskeleton. Thank you, Mr. Van Orden. And hearing her story of what she had to go through to get that, she ended up having to pay for it on her own, her and her family. And she was telling me the story. And she was a Marine, by the way, so you can only imagine how engaging that story was. My curiosity is, why hasn't the VA stepped up in that space?
Sure. Thank you for that question, Mr. Luttrell. When it comes to exoskeletons, because of the level of independence that's required, there are certain requirements that need to be in place in order to determine which veterans are best suited to actually have an exoskeleton. We have to weigh the benefits and the risks. The benefits are increased mobility and increased autonomy. However, the manufacturers of exoskeletons require the assistance of another person. So even though a veteran may be moving around, in order to get into and out of that equipment, they do require another person to be around. That is stated by our veterans as the largest barrier to them actually.
Sure. Yeah, her father was with her. But I think there may be a communication breakdown, because the VA did not come through with her, and she benefits greatly because of her exoskeleton. So I don't know by, with, and through the organization how we need to move the pieces on the chessboard to fix this. I think there's a way to do that, to fix this problem set. I just would ask the VA to take a harder look at the advancements in technology for our members in need.
So thank you for that statement. We are continuing to look at innovative projects and programs to support our veterans. In 2016, I'm not sure when she received her exoskeleton, we did devise a specific type of evaluation for those veterans who are interested in exoskeleton. There are a number of other types of innovative technologies to include neurostimulation and other types of equipment that can help our veterans who have spinal cord injury and disorder. But again, everything is evaluated on a case-by-case basis to make sure that it's the safest for veterans. The downside, unfortunately, of some of these is because of the mobility issues, is that they can have skin breakdown, which can lead to infections and other problems, as well as some other neuromotor issues that can happen with spinal cord injury disorders veterans. So we need to make sure that we're providing care that's not only what they want, but what we think is safe.
Thank you, Doctor. I yield back, sir.
Representative Landon, you're recognized.